lion, I'm sure. Did you just wake up, Rudy?
They signed off to the 4-year extension today. Quarterbacks.
Yeah. Because Christy's in charge.
She's my boss.
Oh, boy. Where's she headed? Where's she headed?
Oh, she's headed to France. Yeah, 3 o'clock tomorrow at her place. I'm jealous.
Yeah. She gonna be there for the Olympics?
No, she's gonna be there for 3 weeks, so she's taking a good vacation.
You get to go to Florida all the time, so you know.
I don't anymore. Cody sold her condo. My youngest sold her condo, so.
Did finally.
Yeah, she's in South Carolina now, which is still a nice place to visit.
It is, it is. Maybe. Here. It's just under correspondence. After the bill, after the. It's just there, yeah.
Yep.
Just
Ready?
the information.
Call meeting to order, 6:01. Invocation. Heavenly Father, we come here today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussions, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Davis?
Here.
Worth, here, Miller? Here. Brown?
Here.
Zelinski?
Here.
Open public comment at 6:01.
Jim Clark, 2648 Holbrook Road. Last land commission meeting, the zoning administrator said he wasn't gonna be polite anymore. It's our second employee that has refused to do their duty. I'm wondering what the board's gonna do about either one. Whether it be the zoning administrator or the deputy clerk. I have a question, how we pay these people. Continue without making sure they do their job. And there's a subsection for notes and minutes and emails and whatever, but there's nothing in it
Oh, on the meetings page,
for,
on the website?
yeah.
Okay, let me,
So if you wanna check on that,
Yeah.
make sure there's minutes of, as far as refers to beginning and ending the public hearing, but nothing on the
so it needs,
discussion.
it needs that special for October 11th, or
Hearing was called held October 10th.
October 10th, okay.
Yeah, 11th is when it was discussed.
Okay.
So you might wanna check that out.
Ron Thomas, 1940 on the highway. And, we was at the park the other day and a couple teenagers on the kids' bring toy things, they've been in things breaking around. And I don't know if we can do anything about that or not. And, I still oppose the alcohol at the park. So, but I don't know if that's still on the agenda or not. But, marathon they wanted to have it. So, I still oppose that.
Hi, my name is Sandy, thank you for letting me speak. I moved here about 9 years ago from Florida, and I've always had dogs, and I could always take the dogs to a really decent, controlled dog park. This is about that dog park subject, you know, we can bring it up. So I moved here 9 years ago, and I go over to the park, and there's a sign that says, dogs must be unleashed in the dog park. I said, okay, well, we can go find the dog park. There is no dog park. There is nothing fenced in. So my dogs take them off the leash and they follow me around and we do our little exercise and then we go home. We went one time and somebody came in there and said, you know, your dog is supposed to be on a leash, but the sign says, so we just go somewhere else. It's 36 miles round trip to go to Benzonia. And I don't like going towards Traverse City because it's just crazy too busy. So probably about 6 years ago, big trucks go into our park, Inland Park, and tear up the whole backyard and they plant grass. Nothing has been put there except a disc throwing thingy that I have no use for, but some people do. A couple years ago, they put blacktop around our nice path where the dogs can't even walk on because it gets so hot, burns their little toes, so we can't use that for walking. I have to walk on the side, but that's not important. But then they bring these disc things, and there's a guy throwing discs, and I asked him not to throw it right now because my dogs will chase it and they'll tell them around because they're on a leash. They have to be on a leash. There's more dogs now than there was 9 years. 9 years ago, there were no dogs, so it was kind of nice. But now the community's building up, and there's a lot of people that have dogs. So the guy still throws it, and my dog wants to go, and I swear I almost lost my arm, to go get that disc, and it's his natural. You know, he's used to playing with frisbees. So then, trying to get my thoughts together here. So then I signed a petition to have the dog park there at the Inland Park. And I guess one person was able to vote down over 300 signatures. So there is an interest. The people around here want to have a dog park. They want to exercise their dogs. And we just can't get a dog park there. There's plenty of, the township owned, Lake Ann Road and 31, that big area there. There's an area right there for a dog park. I mean, it's right there, it's convenient. And there's plenty of room at our park there, like right across from where we pick up our trash on May. And there's so much room in the back. You know, that was supposed to be for a ball field or soccer field or something, and nobody even plays baseball at the small baseball field that we have there. Nobody ever goes there. I can hear it from my house. It's a house away. I can hear it cracking the bat. Nobody's ever there. And I hardly ever see anybody playing disc golf. And I had heard that a person almost got hit by one. And I don't know, why can't we get someplace for the community that's growing to to be able to take their pets to get some exercise. I know I'll think of more later, but I think I'm shutting my mouth now.
Alright, just
Thank
to, just to help you out, we did just recently meet with the insurance guy.
I'm
And
sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing.
we met with the insurance guy, and he says we are clear to have a dog park. And that
Yeah.
was the reason that we were told no before, and I've gotten one quote in, I just texted the other guy, about his quote, he said he'll give it to me in the morning, so next month.
Annoying, did you say annoying?
No.
I didn't hear.
So he'll have his quote to me in the morning.
Okay, because do they have the same liability problem over in Benzonia or Lake, Traverse? I mean,
There
Right.
isn't one, there isn't a
okay.
liability.
Yeah.
And would it be an extra cost to the taxpayers? Okay,
No, we're just,
you know,
I'm
and there'll be
on it.
volunteers to help clean it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're smart adults that we can take care of our animals. And Benzonia, they got, people leave treats and dog dishes and toys and, but 36 miles round trip,
Right.
it's not good for me.
no, but that issue is being addressed.
Okay, thank you.
How do we know why it was squashed before?
We were told that our insurance wouldn't cover it.
That was too expensive, is what we were told.
By our insurance guy?
No, our insurance guy was never asked. Yeah. We'll leave it there.
So it's done, it's over, yeah?
Yeah. Any other?
Rosemary Swartout. I have a question on the cash summary by account. How does the Parks and Recreation Fund checking account have a negative balance? I mean, I see money in the savings and overall there's money, but how does the checking account have a negative balance? $27,846.41.
There's something screwy in the system with the cash savings and the cash checking accounts that we have to address yet.
We are aware of it.
Yeah, we're trying to get that addressed as soon as we get the other things caught up. And it does still appear, because the other two accounts don't, it still is at a negative, but we'll address that too. I'll
Okay.
probably come in tomorrow and look at that.
Okay. And thank you for including the expenditure report, the one that we only see at budget time. So I appreciate seeing, if you're planning on doing it month to month, to see the progression, thank you. I have a question on the minutes for the Parks and Recreation Department. It says that Dave will order wood benches, which is gonna be easier to secure to the ground than the plastic. I mean, at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, I didn't look up the minutes, the board voted to do plastic benches, so when was the decision made that he's gonna order wood benches?
There's probably a typo.
It's, I will order them once they're approved. We never approved any benches, we approved, wooden picnic tables and the
I thought we
gazebo.
both benches.
No, we
There was
haven't.
some question about
How
whether
to
we would be
secure
able to secure
Oh,
them to the
you can
ground.
secure
I know we can,
plastic the
but
same
it
as you
wasn't-
can wood, yeah.
Well, that's what we thought, but then we were told, no, you couldn't do it.
I
So
got a
that-
book that I picked up at the MTA conference that
Yeah.
says right in there and shows how to do it.
No, I know, and then, but then we got confused because we thought we had been told by the board, well, don't do those benches because they're not gonna be secure, so then we started looking at back again at the wooden ones, so there's,
Yeah, but we haven't made a decision on
it's
benches
a
yet.
debate at the moment.
Okay.
Well, personally, from a consumer standpoint, if I'm going to a park, especially like on today, it rained all day last night, I'm not gonna be able to sit on a wooden bench, you know, without having a major wet behind. If it's a plastic, I can get out a towel, wipe it off, sit down. Same, you know, if there's bird droppings, if it's plastic, I can get out my sanitizer, wipe it up, and enjoy lunch or whatever. If it's wood, there's no cleaning that feces off of there. So to me, it makes no sense to put wood in at all. And then also there it says, we will be continuing to try to negotiate with the road commission. I didn't realize that like an individual committee would be doing that. I would think that that would be something that the board should be doing, not an individual committee contacting the road commission to, you know, upgrade the land, or to grade the land road property. And then the bylaws, I can appreciate redoing them, cause they were definitely outdated. But I know we just updated the bylaws for the event committee. Can they be done so that all the bylaws for all of the township is consistent? Not just, you know, put in what you want for yours and the other committee puts in what they want for them. Just make things more consistent evenly amongst the entire township.
Andrew Bishop, Stevens Road, I'm the one who approached you guys a long time ago about doing the disc golf course at Finland Township Park. There's been a lot of positive response to it, requests to improve it by putting in concrete tee pads, to avoid the erosion and the divots and wearing patterns from the tee areas. I talked to Rose about it and I got a quote from Honor Building Supply and from Elmer's to put in 18 tees. All the manpower, all the labor would be done by the volunteers who helped install the course and do all that, so I've arranged all that. I have those numbers for you if you want that. All the lumber and materials would be $228. And that's with your tax ID number and such. And same with Elmer's with the tax ID number and everything, it would be $14.92 to pour all 18 tee pads. And those are 4 foot by 8 foot with wood frames using the front of the tee pads. The course is on UDisc, which is udisc.com, which is a site disc golfers use. You can usually download a map of the course if you've never been there before, any rules and regulations, etc. The other website is discgolfscene.com, and both sites have a lot of positive response to Inland Township Park. Yes, it's a unique design in that it's a smaller practice course, and only really 9 baskets, but 18 holes, but a lot of starters and younger and beginners are really enjoying it, so a lot of positive feedback. We also had 2 fundraisers there to help raise proceeds for Benzie Food Partners. We raised this year, the second event, 725 pounds of food and $762 for the Benzie Food Partners. A bunch of people just came out to play disc golf in the snow. And it's a national event over an 8-week period where different clubs, in Key West, Florida, they have an ice bowl. And they put a little pile of fake snow and pretend that they're, but it's a way that disc golfers in their selected communities can give back to the community by partnering with food pantries and such. I've done it at NMC back in the late 90s, got tired of playing in the snow, but when you guys let me put in the course here, I thought, I knew our situation in Benzie County, and I thought it would be good to partner up. My wife has been involved with Jeff, he's a food partners for years, so it seems like a good thing. Go ahead.
I'm a regular disc golf player, and I'm grateful that we have one here, but I have, had a couple guests or residents come in and say that they've almost been hit. That there's some point where it's the trail where they've almost been hit, and then I've also had concerns with people throwing disc at each other from two different spots on a thing. And so I think it's great, and I think we should have one. I don't think we should spend money on doing things until we maybe address those issues, and is there a way to possibly make it, because we do have all the room there, and it would be awesome to have a full course. Because everybody I play with locally, we all go to Elmira. So I think it would be great, so if we could design it where we were throwing discs at one another, does that make sense? And I know that it's a practice course and it's a small course, but I don't want somebody to get hit, either walking or from somebody throwing one at
Well,
somebody
it's a
else.
courtesy thing, we could certainly improve things by putting in some signs. And we've talked about that, it's a matter of designing signs and then getting them constructed and put up. But there are no blind holes there, everything you can see. You can see if somebody's walking two dogs towards you, you're not gonna
Right.
throw your frisbee at them until they get by.
Well, they
There's a lot-
have.
They
So
shouldn't.
right, it's a courtesy thing, but they have.
Signs will help that, and older disc golfers who kind of tell the younger ones, you know, the ins and outs, like the teenagers with the playground equipment that are too big for the equipment, but they're damaging the equipment. There's ways to teach people and
Right.
mentor so that doesn't happen, but it shouldn't be a problem there, because it's so visible, there's no obstructed holes, there's no blind spots. You can see everything, and you can also do what golfers have done for 100 years, and that's yell four. I mean, if you throw an errantly and it's like, oh shoot, I meant to throw that way, but it went over there, there's some people
Well,
over there.
that's the concern, because not everybody throws where they need to throw.
No, it's a difficult sport to control, just like golf. Or it's a good walk spoil like golf.
You also have those people who.
You had a
steal
question?
Do you
game
get
for other
cards?
people.
No.
Yeah.
The U-disc,
Oh,
is that
that's
the
true.
letter U-disc, or is it Y-O-U disc?
No,
Letter U.
Disc?
letter U, DISC.com, U-disc. Emlyn Township Park is in there, and it's also in PDGA.com, which is the Professional Disc Golf Association.com. I've been a member of that for 25 plus years. Just like they have the PGA and the LPGA for women,
So what's your handicap?
they have handicaps, and, you know, the really good players are in the low 900s, I'm in the low 850, so I have not broke par on my own course. And I know people who have repeatedly, you know, a lot of people post their scores on U-disc, because you can everybody can put in their round and such, so. No, there's always one hole that, I might have a good round going, you know, but.
It's the wind.
But the ice bowls have been really well received, that's been nice. We had, 2 kids and 3 women and 22 players, in February this year, and the year before 16, so it's growing.
Any other public comment? Any public comment? 6:21? Full meeting agenda.
Motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented.
I'll second it. Oh, okay.
See whose name.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. I'm confused about the consent agenda. Do we talk about changes before we approve it or after we approve it? No, if there's something you wanna leave out to discuss, you make a motion to approve minus whatever it is we need to discuss or change. Well, the financial reports. Okay. For a very minor thing. Okay. So I move that,
Which one?
expenditure report.
Oh. That's more of an information thing, but we can pull it
Well, I
out.
don't, but
So, yeah,
I'm just trying to
you don't
follow it.
expenditure report.
What page?
We'll get to it, I just wanted to know which
Oh,
one, so.
we're not doing
The
that.
expenditure
Okay.
report every page.
Got ya.
Okay, make your motion.
I make a motion that we pull the expenditure report for a minor change and approve the rest of the consent agenda.
Could we, you wanna add to that the unpaid bills starting with, 15,309 to 15,325 for a total of $6,455.74.
What she said.
Thank you. You do have to do it twice. I'll second.
Go ahead, roll call.
Brower,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Davis.
Yep. Alright. Financial report, or, expenditure report. Expenditure report, minor change, the 2024-25 column is labeled amended budget.
What page are you on?
Any page.
Every page,
Every page.
up here.
While,
I think is what you're saying.
while the proposed budget on March 26th was amended, was then voted on with the amendment, which passed, which makes the budget the budget. It's not an amended budget. And in past years, the board has amended the budget mid-year, and even though it's amended, it's still the budget. So it could be reported as the budget, not an amended budget.
But when you change it, don't you have to say
Yeah.
you've amended it?
In the minutes,
I don't know, I don't do budget.
in the minutes, it is. Right.
It's not the
No,
budget because you.
It should be the budget, but I think it just says amended budget in case there's like a budget
If we want to
adjustments.
change it.
If we make a budget adjustment, we make a budget adjustment, it's recorded in the minutes, and the budget is still the budget.
Well, okay, yeah,
I don't know, it's just a,
They can
as I
check that
said,
out
it's a
tomorrow.
it's a minor thing. Right. Yeah, I just don't know, that's,
why it's there.
yeah, if that's how I just labeled it, or if that's something we can change, but I'll look into it, yeah. As I said, a minor thing, but kind of important. So with that minor change, I was striking the word amended on the budget column. I move that we accept the expenditure report as presented. Second. Go ahead and roll call it, because we didn't change any numbers, but it's still a financial.
We're not spending money.
Hmm?
Not spending any money.
No, but we're still
We're
approving.
approving something that has money on it. But guess we're being safe, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Brower,
Yep.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Davis.
Yes. I do have a question on the prepaid bills. Let me turn it over. Did the Record Eagle really send us a bill for 29 cents?
It
Well,
was
I
a,
think the check was right.
it was a finger typo
Oh,
when you do,
okay. I was just curious.
and
It
it was,
cost more for the stamp than to send them the money. Yes, I would have thought they would have just dropped that.
yeah.
Alright, correspondence, this really doesn't affect us at all, it's actually on the opposite side of, the city highway. But just wanted to make everybody aware that they're gonna be redoing the culvert over there. Eagle approved the road commission's permit, so I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. And then,
Do they know when they're gonna start that?
Whatever it says in there.
they're still waiting on word from Elmer's on everything, so.
Okay.
Eric's on a report, right?
Yeah, Art sent the report, but
Alright. County commissioners here, but
Too many
board.
pages.
Yeah, Archie, yeah, yeah.
Dayton is sick, so he is not able to come in. That will bring us to Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Okay, yep,
Um,
Amy's here to talk about,
I just wanna give some updates. I had a little personal glitch that has sort of turned things back a little bit. We're a little bit behind on our schedule. I ended up having a triple bypass 3 weeks ago, so.
Wow.
So I'm in recovery from that, so I'm a little slow at getting some things done. But, the people who've been, other people on the committee have been doing the things that they signed up to do, so some things are moving forward. There's 3 people who are working on trails, and, they've gone through and done cleanup and, we're trying to finish up one of the trails. It wasn't quite done, but, I think Rebecca's working on that, and Keith and Jenny are kind of maintaining the trails, so they just go through and they rake and they, clear up the debris, and they've been, picking up trash and stuff, so we're in the process of looking for some trash container type thing that we can put over at the park, so Rose has been researching that. Hopefully we'll get something in place for those who don't seem to understand about taking their own trash home with them. The pavilion is, as you know, here, the gazebo, whatever you wanna call it. I was going to, before, this stuff intervened in my life, go to the fire committee, whatever they are, and try to.
yeah, no, the fire department,
Fire department, try to recruit some people to volunteer to help put it up, because it needs to be assembled. Right now it's on Dave's trailer. So we are going to be putting, cement footings on it. We went over and marked the other day where the center of the gazebo would be, so people doing the cement stuff would know where to put those, and then we just need a work crew we need some people to agree to do that, and most of the people that are on the committee who are active aren't gonna do that. I'm not going to, neither is Jean, and my son is busy doing my homestead, all the stuff I can't do right now. So I don't know what.
we'll get her done.
We just need to recruit some people to do that, and
Put on the call.
do it. Tables, Dave is getting tables at Home Depot or one of those places. Yeah. And they have to be assembled too?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the same work group can do both of those things. And then the other issue is the benches, where there's confusion about what kind to get. I don't care what kind you get, as long as you get something in there pretty soon.
I noticed.
I mean, we originally were gonna go with the plastic. It's a little more expensive than the wood, but we were gonna go with that, and then there were questions about whether it could be secured to the ground. I mean, my thing on that is that there's benches all over the place here in this county that are not secured to the ground, and nobody seems to be stealing them. Right outside the Honor Post Office is one, just exactly like I'm going to order.
That's probably got cameras there though. People probably assume it does.
Maybe, yeah,
I'm
anyway,
sure it does.
I don't care.
And it's federal, yeah.
I mean, I would just like us to get that to happen somehow, make it happen so that we get some benches in, because.
Oh, do we have money in the budget to do that if we have a negative
I mean, you
balance?
already approved it, I think, at one of the meetings, I think you already approved
You
it,
just said,
Yeah.
Not for the benches,
not for the benches, you
You approved
approved the
the
we
tables.
approved the tables,
Okay, so,
so
We'll
we'll
get
get
those
those completed, and then we'll work on the other,
I'm assuming we have money in the budget.
recent, well,
I
it's a
don't know.
Michigan class.
yeah, but I already transferred the last time we were in the negative, so now I think, the Parks has $2,922 in Michigan class that I can pull out.
Which is weird.
Huh?
Which is weird, so we'll get that budget and we'll look at get that fixed.
We'll
I
figure
mean,
it out.
originally, we were gonna make our own benches, but that was a no-no, so, for, liability, so.
Oh, we could've asked the insurance guy while he was here.
Oh, well.
Anyway, other than that, things are looking pretty good over there. Somebody does wheels in the driveway occasionally, but, the little trees we planted in the fall are thriving, they're doing fine. The trees that we ordered that you approved from the Conservation District are in nice pots in my vegetable garden, and they will be cared for over the summer, and we will plant them in the fall like we did the others. So they're here and they're being taken care of. As far as the bylaws go, the committee is made up of volunteers who don't go to meetings, who don't like to go to meetings. But they do the work, and there's a number of people who are listed on the committee who have never showed up for anything and haven't done any of the work. But the people who do the work, they're there. They're just reliable, they just do it. There's not very many of them. So we kind of try to keep it as simple as we can. The goal is to just get the park up and running and be able to have our nice grand opening, which I'm hoping we can postpone. We were thinking of June, but I'm thinking maybe July or something. If we could do it that way, I'm kind of marginally functional for the next couple of months.
Also on that, I talked to the insurance guy, we can have people under the age of 18 on the committee, they just cannot use any power tools.
My granddaughter does not yet use power tools.
But other than that, they would still be covered as long as they're not using power tools.
Yeah,
under
and
the age of 18.
she helps plant the trees, and right
Right.
now she's at my house planting my green beans.
So if you have Roseland's number, you can call her still. Can't remember her name, I took it up.
How much manpower do you need for the, erecting the gazebo and, pavilion thing?
I don't know, Rose has looked at the plans, what do you think? How many people do we need to do that? Put the gazebo up?
Depends on if they're all women or they're men.
Depends on what age bracket.
It is, so that's something, Rudy, we can talk about, I can show you the,
I also thought about, I
Plan
don't know
for
if there's a local like Boy Scout troop, but a lot of times they'll do something like that for America.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
we're
call.
gonna work on getting,
Like, the disc golfers might help in something like that.
We
At
want
least
the-
parks related, so more
That
of
would be
America.
good. Yeah, that would be great.
we want to get Peggy over this first before we,
Well, I can come over and supervise.
well, I know you can. We were waiting for that.
Yeah, I'll just
you know.
come and supervise, but I'm not gonna do anything.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll work on getting the
And
people.
then we just
there.
have a nice little grand opening thing like they just are doing for this coming weekend, I think, for the Honor Park, the Honor, Flat River Park is having their grand opening this coming weekend. I'm gonna go peek and see how they do it.
So, bylaws.
Get some ideas.
Yeah, we can go over everything, the minutes, if you look on the second page,
Are you talking about the minutes from the Parks meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the third paragraph,
Okay,
the last word in there should be may, not Matt,
all right,
just a typo.
okay.
We don't have to approve the minutes, but we do have to approve
You
the
don't have to
bylaws.
approve it.
Before we go into the bylaws, can I just make one other comment about the report? It says in here that the ARPA funds must be spent by December or we lose them.
December 2026.
Well, it'll come up in my discussion of, Mayor Casterison, Rod Taylor, who I'm gonna recommend, in chatting with him, it came up strictly as a side comment. There are 3 different ways you can lock it down without having spent the money. It's just, I forget the word he used, but basically if the money is committed,
It
doesn't have to be spent
This is correct.
to lose it. So,
So, I didn't catch that, but yes, we have to commit the money by December 2024. And we have until 2026 to actually spend it.
very good.
So I'm aware of that.
We have not used any ARPA money for the
We have
Plain
to
Road
Right.
Park.
This is for both parks.
Yeah. The other thing I forgot about, the little tree signs that are supposed to go up on the trees that we have.
Did you get more nails?
They came with these aluminum nails.
Yeah.
That immediately bend the minute you try to pound it into a tree. So Jenny, he tried to set them up and failed. So we're going to just go to we're just gonna buy some stainless steel nails and do it that way, and get them up as soon as we can.
Looking at the, revised bylaws that they sent, I think it would be, still a good idea, like for the second paragraph to put authority, like how this committee gets their authority, like the old one did, and the appointment, and the meetings down at the last paragraph. Then on the second page, we need something in here about, what consists of the forum and voting information, like, can anybody walk in and vote? Well, if it's not listed any other way, then you could have 20 people show up that have nothing to do with Park and Rec and vote down whatever you're trying to vote up. So something needs to be there about voting and who's qualified to vote. And you also need officers. You need a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary.
Which
Well,
we
we have,
do.
we have a chair and a secretary.
But it's not
But
listed in the bylaws.
The bylaws need to spell them out.
Yeah, okay.
There's some
Yeah,
other,
and what to do with vacancies.
the bylaws should also have section titles, so that if there's a discussion about it, you're not saying, in paragraph 4, paragraph 5, third sentence, you need to be able to reference the section.
Yeah,
Now-
like I said, with the authority and appointment and meetings,
Yeah, there's some
just use
things,
the old.
there's some things missing, and, I also, even though it's in our policy and procedure manual, which I understand was adopted from Elmira, and I'm not sure it was ever heavily modified, and there's no approval date to it. It calls for all of the committees to have bylaws, which, and sitting on my desk right here is the thing from Robert's Rules. Robert's Rules really discourages committees having their own bylaws, because this committee says this committee says that, and it becomes very confusing, not just for all the residents, but all of us, who can do what. And I know that we're gonna be looking into our policies and procedures, and as a common law township, we don't have to have bylaws, we have policies and procedures, and I'm wondering if it would be simpler to just hold off on this until we look at our policies and procedures, clean those up, so that we can also clean up things for all the committees.
Cause I know too that, some committees, even though we have officers and stuff, there is no voting power in that committee, because the board has to be the one that actually, we bring it to the board and say, we want to do this, and the board has to approve it, and that's pretty much what Parks does.
That's partially correct.
So there's that
The
to look into.
committees don't have the authority to, pass something that must go in front of the board, but committees, at least committees I've been involved in here, do take a vote, and if majority thinks they should recommend one thing over another, that goes to us, the board, and it can be reported that it was a 4-3 vote, or 8-1 vote, or, whatever it might be.
Right.
But I think I don't think you should take voting away from a committee.
I mean, if there's a decision that we're making about something we actually wanna do in the park and how to do it, I consult with the people who are on the committee.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't have to have a meeting, we just consult with each other.
And you make a recommendation.
And we make a recommendation from the committee. I mean, it's not a committee that a whole lot of people are standing in line to join, so, and my position is not something that I think anyone else probably wants at the moment. If you do, let me know, please. But, so it's a little informal, but we do make sure that everything that we are doing goes to the board.
Yep.
Particularly if it involves spending money. So, we did, we did track the trails, so we have distances on the maps that are on the boards, signboards out there now. I bought one of those little wheelie things.
Yeah, you sure we got that last month.
Yeah, and so Keith went out and did all that and put it up, revised the signs so that you can tell how far you're going when you're walking. I don't think there's anything else that I particularly need, on it. We haven't done a whole lot with the Inland Township Park, in terms of David's working on stuff, and, I'm not really personally involved in much of that right now.
Which brings me to the, quote, oh, you wanna do that?
A, B. Yeah,
Alright.
I was going in order and going.
Yeah, sure. The dog waste stations for,
Lamb Road.
so,
These are the same ones we get for, Inland Township Park.
right. The, 557.94 for 2 of them. Is there shipping on that? Yeah.
It's usually free shipping, and it did say free shipping, but it kind of cut the page.
Yes.
And we're tax exempt with them, so there's no tax on it
Right.
either, so.
We want the 2?
We're thinking two.
One
Yeah.
of each entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Make a motion that we buy the 2-station bundle deal of dog waste stations for $557.94. What is that times 2?
no,
Or
that's,
you're only
that's
buying-
both.
It's a bundle, that's both of them. Oh,
Second.
that's even better.
So where are we gonna get the money? We just talked about that.
Well,
I mean,
My-
I can transfer
my
it out of there, that's fine.
What is that, dog waste station?
Where you can get the little bags out of a little box, that,
Oh,
so you can
okay.
clean up and, yeah.
So is there a park there?
There's a new park, yes,
Is there a new park there on Lamb Road?
yes.
You have to access it off of Cinder Road though.
Yeah, you
Thank
can't, it's not very drivable down Lamb
Okay.
Road at all,
No,
unless
it's
you have a
dirt
big
road?
truck.
It's a 2-track,
I
We're
have,
coming in from Cinder, it's some,
yes.
who's going
Okay.
to, service these?
We do,
Who's we?
park committee.
Park and Rec? Oh, thank you.
We do a lot of things that you don't even know about. Dave, there's one more thing.
We have to.
You have to finish that, okay.
Go ahead and open it.
Brower,
Sure.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Ford, yes, Davis.
Yes.
There's one other thing that I wanted to bring up, that needs to be dealt with. There's an old homestead foundation.
Yeah.
At the park, and it's visible from the road, from Lang Road. It's just, some cement blocks, but the problem is that there's a cistern.
You need to get it filled.
It needs to get filled in, it's a hazard, and it needs to be kind of cordoned off so that.
Is that where the dog waste?
Yeah.
Peggy, I think we could probably call AJ's and a couple others and get, what it would cost from them to fill that in.
Kirby might be able to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm concerned that, because it is slightly, we made sure that we didn't have any of our trails going too close to it, but we are gonna put one more little trail down towards it, where the creek comes through in the spring. But, we haven't, there's still, it's close enough that, you just don't wanna take a chance of kids getting over there and playing.
Yeah, we'll get quotes on that. Alright. Okay, so I have a multi-line quote. Just wanted to go through it item by item and see which things we would like to add or not of it. Reached out to multiple companies. Out of the ones that got back to me, their equipment is far superior. So just kind of used their quote for everything so that we don't have multiple people in there trying to do the park all at once. But it would cover, basically connecting the two wood chipped areas, adding a zip line. It's not a zip line, it's
That's cool.
zip cruise.
Yeah.
This here, they have it at, the Civic Center in Traverse City.
Yep. I've seen a lot of kids use that.
Definitely not what you think of when you say zip line.
Yeah.
No,
It-
but there's a little seat that they can sit on. Parents give them a push or.
Not real high off the ground, yeah.
Also included in here is a Fit Cord Extreme, which is, it's a half paper. So it's kind of like, yeah, like an obstacle course, low end, Ninja Warrior stuff. I had him do a quote on it just so I could really throw in the link to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
What about a water park?
Yeah, that was like over 250. Just gonna kill it. And that was just the equipment, not actually.
We'll have to hire a
installing it.
full-time maintenance guy.
But, just listening to everybody's ideas on, like, some of the stuff, I think is, the volleyball, I think we just need a new net, but,
I think we need pickleball courts over volleyball courts.
Well, we're
Right.
just gonna keep that volleyball court there, we're not gonna.
Oh,
we already have the volleyball court,
Right,
it's just, the net's tore up, and it's two, like, telephone posts that it's on, so he's like, oh, we can get a better one, I'm like, all right, throw it on there, we'll see what it costs, and it's $2,000, so
okay, can we put
I think we need that.
add pickleball to this, or a tennis court, one or the other?
We had pickleball originally, we approved pickleball 2 years ago.
I know, but we don't have it yet.
No,
That's
we don't.
because the company wasn't, everybody wanted 3 quotes, but with the,
The only thing people, I think, asked for 3 quotes for was for the, a new gazebo at the park, not for,
no, they wanted that for that too.
There were 2 pickleball courts and the 2 new pavilions and
Yeah.
basketball court.
just the
All of
pavilions
those
was very
things, yeah.
expensive, so
Yeah,
we said to
So-
get it, cause you can get any builders, right, to build those.
yeah, but they make pickleball courts that can be both tennis court and pickleball court, so 2 pickleball courts, where one can be tennis and pickleball, and the other one's pickleball, so.
That's a great idea.
I'm confused as to what this is.
Oh,
Shovel.
It's one of the sand toys,
You sit on this and this, you pull this up and you dig that and put it in.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if that was part of the swing or
No.
part of the thing on a merry-go-round where you pump the
yeah,
merry-go-round.
there's a new sandbox involved, and that was some of the toys that,
Dave, is the thinking we're gonna keep pretty much what's there, as far as the playground goes?
other than the spring things,
We'll remove those,
well,
yeah.
no, we have to take, well, one's broke, that cement chunk just needs to come out, but they're not, properly spaced to code either, so they need to all be spread out.
So, are we gonna remove them or keep them?
Keep 3,
We're just gonna fix them,
yeah,
fix the proper space,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's, part of the labor cost.
How much space do they have to have in between?
No, so you don't hit your head on the other person
Yeah, I
when you're
forget
both
what it was,
zing-zanging.
but he said we weren't even close, so.
So how much ARPA money do we have that we plan on spending on the park?
It was all designated for the park.
Okay, so what is our total now?
196?
No, there's the expenditure.
164, 144, plus whatever.
No, what, how much money do we have to spend on the park?
Sure.
Something like that.
That's what we budgeted.
Yeah, but there's,
Do we have commitments?
201,
No, it's
802,
just the
46.
interest,
how much?
201, 802, 46.
plus the interest,
No,
Right.
interest, I think it's already been added to that.
no, not to this expenditure report.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we got 200,000, but
So do you remember roughly what the pickleball tennis court cost?
I don't remember what the original.
But I can get that, it's not a problem to get it. The thing is to have someone install them, which is be a little more expensive.
But if we could do the things we want on here and do those at
Well, we
the
don't-
same time
yeah.
with the money.
So I was
Right.
asking if we could keep everything at the playground now, and what is he thinking about really, what do we want to see as a board, what our township members might want? Do they want the fit core extreme, do they want the bucket C with chain guard, whatever that thing is?
That's a ADA swing.
On ADA swing, so we probably want that in the zip cruise
Oh,
and the
I think
fit
you,
core, so.
I think you raise a good question. What do the citizens want? And I don't know how much citizen input there's been. I mean, we've heard that, you know, there, what, 300 people signed a petition for a dog park at some point?
Well, I know that,
If I could finish, there's just, you know, there's the opportunity cost. I'm not saying don't do any of this. But, you know, if we want pickleball courts and they cost a little bit more and there's more favor for pickleball courts than there are for some of these things, you know, is it first come, we get in line, we do it? You know, I would like to see if we can do it, you know, a designated day. I don't know that it needs to be specifically a meeting. I don't know that the whole board needs to be at the park, but invite the public, the residents, because you're the taxpayers, this is your money. Spend, you know, an hour walking through the equipment, walking through the suggestions. I don't know if we can do a quick survey, you know, what do you guys think we should get? Because while this is, well, technically this is ARPA money, still our tax money somehow. You know, I don't know if you're asking for approval on all this tonight, but
I would like to get some of it, yeah.
this is the first I've seen any of this, what, 5, 6 days ago. And that's spending a lot of money on, you know, maybe I'll look at all of it and say, oh, great, you know, sorry for holding us back, but, you know, since there's no real rush to get this done, you know, I'd like a little bit more time, and I'd love to have a little bit more input on those things that we think that we need in our park.
I do know that when I went out there and I talked to people in the park on several occasions, they really wanted the play area fixed up. That was
It's in
their
bad
biggest
shape.
thing, was the play area and a water permit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it's not that the residents get everything that they want, unless of course they want another millage. You talk to some people, did we talk to everybody? You know, are there some people that say, I'd rather have a dog park? There are some people that say, I'd rather have, you know, 3 tennis courts, because I've got 12 kids in my family that are learning to play tennis. You know, I don't have the answer, but we also haven't asked the question. And I think we owe it to the public to ask the question, rather than just making a decision for them.
I think what I have seen in the past with having our fellow citizens give us input, you get very little of anything. And the things that really concern them, I find most of the times they come and ask about something. And when I'm looking at a play area for kids, and we have a lot of families growing up in this area, I think the play things for the kids would be the number 1 thing on their list. And I think if we waited for people to give us a lot of information back, I don't think you'll get a lot. If you really want to wait, we can. But I'm just saying from past experience, I don't think we're gonna hear from very many people.
Well, we have taxes going out here in the next couple weeks, and we could put a newsletter in there, and we could ask or include some kind of survey, or
Yeah,
please
we get
return
feedback
with your,
from
yeah,
them.
what would you like to see
Would you
there?
please
And we could
include
maybe
your
put
opinion?
like have them number priority,
Yeah.
you know?
with cutoff date, so we
To
get
be
it.
Yeah,
clear,
cut
I'm
off.
not suggesting that we not do any of this. but we're moving in the, at least I am, moving in the dark a little bit. What else is out there that's a want? You know, until now, I didn't know that there was a strong demand for a dog park. I've had 2 dogs for most of my life. You know, I like dogs. Do we need a dog park? I don't know. Apparently we do. Why we don't have one? Ancient history. I don't know how much it costs to put up a fence for a dog park. All I'm saying is, let's make sure that we have the full picture before we go, oh geez, you know, we've got some nice stuff. Yeah, parents aren't, you know, that hot on this, that, or the other within here. Or maybe they want more, I don't know.
This equipment, what age range of kids does it, draw? You know, is it like up to
Oh, I'm gonna be on-
10-year-olds
I'm
or
gonna
is
be
it
on
like
the zip
12?
line.
5 to 12 year
For
old?
the first one
Yeah,
and
no,
older for the other one.
Yeah, the fit core thing is for a little bit older kids,
Okay,
and then,
When you say older, 10 and above?
yeah, 10
Well,
to,
13 plus and 5 to.
Yeah,
What's that in there?
so
I
it's
didn't- I didn't look at that.
age range.
Oh,
Then,
okay, yeah.
obviously the swing, the zip line, fixing the tire swing, sandbox, I mean, that
the little.
goes all the way down.
Yeah.
We
And
have
isn't
feather
there,
off.
So
We have that little round thing that's always broken, it's got the chains, the kids like that, but it's always
Yeah.
broken.
what,
Feather wall doesn't always work.
so can we go ahead and just
She's got a
put a survey in with
Yeah,
the,
you can do
Yeah,
that.
we can.
and then we bring this back in what, 2 months, 3 months?
Well, we should pick a date, like, well, first, we probably can't do that yet, but we should come up with a date somehow. I don't know if you guys want to say,
Have a
or we just
barbecue.
pick a day and,
When do the tax bills go out?
I think they go out the first week of June. Right? First week of June? Yeah. Unless it's not a Sunday.
July 1st.
July 1st, I think.
So that gives time to get something drafted up and sent out.
Yeah, we
to the
can
county
approve that at the
and
next
put it
meeting
in.
and then put it in.
So you wouldn't wanna necessarily have them vote on each item on the playground, rather, I mean, you would want them to just say, you know, it's the playground that we want upgraded, I mean.
Right.
Right,
bigger
exactly.
Yeah, playground, pickleball courts, dog park.
Dog park,
Tennis court.
yeah.
So where it's written play mats, is it,
The play mats go underneath the swings to stop the ground from getting tore up.
okay, but what's underground, under the, play, like the big one, I think that,
The
you know,
bigger
the
one?
slides and everything?
Oh, that would just be wood chips, again, we would just get them refilled.
It can't be, that's the engineered wood
Those
fiber, right?
Yeah.
type of, spongy stuff.
Stuff,
Yeah, we don't have the money
Too
for that right
expensive?
now, yeah.
Can we look at that before?
Yeah, it was almost 200,000.
Just for that.
Just
Yeah,
for
that?
that's a lot.
There are crazy rules for what kind of chips you have to put in,
There
how deep it has to be. It's just
but
it's surprising we all
trees.
survived our
Are you
youth.
gonna work on survey?
Yeah, I can design a little newsletter. If you wanna send some pictures for the park, we can put that in there too.
So the survey will be included then with everybody's tax bill.
Yeah,
And then-
I'll make a newsletter.
Pictures for that,
Lamb Road.
new park, okay. I'm gonna have to
Because
go.
if you wanna have an opening, then just,
Yeah.
it will have to be after July. If it goes out in July, we can put it in the newsletter, a date. So pick a date and get that to me and some pictures.
You're gonna, Teresa, you're gonna have to check with the county, cause, I remember,
I'll get a notice from Kelly from when it has to be to them by. I
Yeah,
should
you
get
might-
one.
you might have to do it before the meeting if you're gonna get board
Yeah, probably
approval.
will be. Can we just vote to let me do whatever I want?
Well, it's kind of like, all you do is just give it to Dave, and you two fix, you
Yeah,
take care of
okay.
it. That's usually what,
I have to go.
Okay.
I think my dog is out here, I'm not allowed to drive for another week.
Thank you for
Continue
coming.
to
Take care.
handle.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
take it easy.
Fire association?
and it's right there. You just have to buy some bags.
Okay.
Price what?
I'm gonna go.
Bags for cans.
Yeah.
Planning commission,
I was hoping that our administrator would be here, but, as far as I know, we be meeting Wednesday, this Wednesday at 6:00. And it's basically to go over things that we're still working on in the zoning ordinance that we think we might wanna tweak before we have the people from Northwest.
Networks Northwest.
Thank you, Networks Northwest, come in and work with us on our regular date, which is May 20th. So we'll be meeting together on the 15th and the 20th, both at 6:00 here.
Events committee. Ryan, you said anything?
Oh.
I haven't gotten her.
Okay. Website committee.
That would be me. No written report. I'm embarrassed to say, I feel we're behind schedule getting the website up, in part due to our support guy being out for a month and the MTA conference taking up way too much of my time. Hmm?
Plus the salary committee taking up
And
more
the
time than
salary
we
committee.
expected.
We're getting closer. I'd love some assistance on, old reports, minutes, agendas and so forth, getting those organized so we can just get them uploaded. I'd also like to get you trained, so you know how to do it. One of the things that I've sent out as a call for, pictures from all the committee chairs and anybody else that wants their picture. I've gotten some back. So we'll keep working on it, and if all goes according to my plan, by this time next month, we'll be able to say, here's our new website. And then, at next month's meeting, or when we have it up and running, I'll also be happy to come in evenings and get people oriented to our new website, because it's laid out a little bit differently, hopefully a little bit more logically than our current website. But not only is it easy to use from a user standpoint, it should be a lot easier from the standpoint of us supporting it. The one thing that I would ask for some consideration by the board by the next meeting is, again, going back to our policies. Currently, I think the two of you are the main keepers of information on the website. And we, as the committee and as reported before, want to open that up so that Parks and Recreation can do their own posting of when they're having meetings and information and so forth. Same should be true for all the committees, but we just need to, and I need to work up a proposed policy for that so that we can adopt it and get people trained in how to use it, because it's gonna be much more useful from the standpoint of just having, like we were just talking about, having a survey. We can send those messages out anytime, and have them play as little banners. We can also send out messages that, big thunderstorms coming, or the aurora is gonna be visible Friday night. We can do a lot of things that we can't now, so.
Don't take my standing up as being anything, but I've got a little medical problem I'm working with, so don't let me bother anything.
So on that though, the .gov people finally got back to me. We have to add MI to the back of, so we can either go with Inland Township, all spelled out again, mi.gov,
Okay.
or we can do the abbreviation. I don't know.
Like the abbreviation.
It'd be Inland TWP.
Inland TWIP,
You have to
TWIP mine,
twip mine.
.gov.
Yeah.
Like most of them are twip, yeah.
Do they all have that, MI?
Am I
Yeah,
done?
that's what
Yeah, it's a requirement for a .gov that you have the state included.
Oh,
any thoughts? Any preference?
I think as much as it stinks, we should do the whole spelling. The Inland Township. That's my preference. And once you put it in there and you
Once you put
email,
it in.
once it's gonna pop right up anyway.
That's what we're using now, and that's what people are used to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
drives me nuts on my email, but it is what it is.
Once you get that approval, just let me know and I'll let Ree know. And we'll figure out when, between the three of us, we'll figure out when we wanna do the switch over.
Alright.
With the current website, is there some way to remove the, sign up for the email, since how we don't have the
I
email?
tried and I asked Dave to
Yeah,
look at it.
I started
couldn't
messing
figure
with
it
it,
out.
then got distracted. I will keep messing with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. here. Zoning is
There's the report.
reports attached. As for blight, I've kind of taken that over for now. We gotta get that all figured out, but, yeah, I got 4 or 5 that, 2 that'll be going to the lawyer. Let's see. Compensation committee.
So you have a report there, basically, after interviewing or notifying, I think we had about 24, 25 townships that we were trying to contact, we got 18 back. And, after the MTA, talking with MTA, we're suggesting that no change in the compensation be enforced at this point. And letting the committee come through, there's no question on how we're supposed to be sort of compensating for statutory and non-statutory. And the majority of the townships that we talk to aren't doing it right, and we're not doing it right. So, we're suggesting that, we continue and also put together our recommendations on the policy and procedure manual, because it's tied so much together on what has to happen. And then we'll come back with our proposed updates for that, along with our recommendations on how best to compensate for those statutory, non-statutory. It could be a real challenge. It should be a real challenge for everybody, and frankly, nobody's actually had requests for our report for other townships to review. So,
I tried to call MTA to see if it was a requirement that, that we have policy and procedure, and they haven't gotten back to me yet, but I have a question with your second paragraph where you say the majority of Northern Michigan Township surveys are not in compliance with Michigan law. What Michigan law are you speaking of?
basically, the compensation.
The
You know, to
compensation
pay
law.
for, there's supposed to be a distinction between paying for statutory duties
Yeah.
and those non-statutory duties. They're, I mean, eventually they go together, I mean, but there has to be a distinction.
We should have more line items on our paycheck of, this is your supervisor pay, this is,
It's your MC, it's an MCL, it should be in your red book.
Well, it actually doesn't need to break down as separate line items. We can have a contract with you for, 4 different things that are separate from your statutory position. And the contract can say, we can, if you're not performing one of those, we can strike one of those.
Right.
But we don't have to overcomplicate it with more and more line items.
I just thought it meant on the
Well,
paycheck.
MTA strongly recommends that you put like the detailed description or you do a detailed job description for each
Right.
position that you do, like
Which
with
is something
cemeteries.
that's lacking.
Right, and
That,
then,
that's always lacking.
and what you're
so-
expected, who you answer to, the pay you get that.
Yeah.
And then a yearly review. And so that way, at that time, if somebody thinks you're not doing the job, or somebody's not doing the job, you can pull it and give it to somebody else. But their base pay can only be for what the law says is your statutory duties, because you can't make anybody do any of those other jobs, even if they've agreed to it, because if they haven't agreed in writing and you don't have an agreement, it means nothing.
Right.
Another thing too, some of the townships that we talk to don't have a policy and procedure program because they don't want one. Because it's legally binding. Now, I don't know, I know everybody swears in to do their duty according to the Constitution and what have you, but I don't know if included in that is an agreement to follow the policy and procedure manual as laid out, which it should. You should make sure that everybody understands whether any of you are gonna be here next year, because everybody's be elected, but it should come to those that are going to run. This is the way compensation is gonna be, this is an expectation of you agreeing to abide by the policy and procedure. Same thing is bylaws, but it's a little more in-depth.
Right.
To really do that.
You can have a detailed job description without having a policy and procedures manual. And you can have a very simplified, basic policy and procedure manual. And you can't really make somebody do that from my conversations at the conference, because that gets back to the, making somebody do something non-statutory. You can't require them to agree to that. You can do it by an assignment, but you can't do like, you agree to this policy and procedure manual.
You can do it by, tie it to the paycheck contract for those things that aren't statutory,
Yes, you can do it to that.
so.
I know it's
But it should-
complicated,
But at
it's
the same
crazy, 'cause
time,
it's
the
kind of
board can just
intertwined.
change anything they want too.
Well, we should
Right.
absolutely, I mean, the board can
Right.
change things, but I think it's a good idea to come up, if we're gonna have a policy
Right.
procedure manual that everybody agrees, yeah, this is what we want, this is the way we want to approach the public.
Right.
And this is the way we do it, so that's our recommendation.
So with that, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna add that, somehow I got roped into the committee to do some phone calls for surveying. And I think as the committee started, okay, let's compare, Inland Township to the rest of the townships. They're kind of our size, or Benzie County, and we'll see what the pay is, and, it is amazing the differences that exist, not only in size, from 343 in a township for Platt to, Elmira has got 3,873. So the population varies, the tax base is all over the place. And the duties that, in some smaller townships that I talk to up in Charlevoix County, the supervisor does, he does the supervisor stuff in Blight and also takes care of the cemetery. Is he paid extra for that? No, he just does it. I mean, in the smaller communities, it's just kind of like, oh, shucks, it's part of the job and we just do it. So it's been, I don't want to say impossible, but near impossible to say, well, we're just like that township, because there are so many moving parts that it's stunning. But I will say that, our pay for everybody on the board is not far off the mark of the average of all that are out there in their very different forms. So, that's it.
So with that said, one last thing, and I think he's agreed to this, I'm not positive. So I'm gonna stay on the committee, but I don't, just to help finish up like the contacting and the decision, but when it comes time to the voting of like what they're gonna decide for compensation for things, I don't wanna be involved in that, because I feel like the three of us are the main people here every day, and I shouldn't have a say in that. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be perceived as, so I want to nominate Jim to be on the committee officially, and I'm going to not partake in that aspect of it.
It's okay with me. We talked about it.
So when you are,
She said agreed, you said talked about.
Oh. Good
so I'm
call.
not sure, can we appoint him while she's still on it?
Yes,
or we need to
because
wait?
we can't have three of us,
Right,
but
we
we
can't
can have
have
two
three.
of us on there, so.
Okay, we
Well-
can have two, so, okay.
Cause I'm gonna help still contact.
What's Jim got?
I would suggest that you vote Teresa out and Jim in.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
That's what she was bouncing back.
I know, she was saying, I'm not ready yet,
Yeah.
but.
Well, I was just
yeah.
saying, I was still willing to help finish up the contacting the people and getting, but I'm totally fine with being out.
Doesn't mean you
One
can't
less
be a
meeting a
volunteer.
week.
That was sneaky.
Yeah, right. I think
I'm
we're-
good.
I think we're beyond that point.
Okay, good.
So-
I'm done. Thank you.
So then,
Make the proposal.
I make a motion that you remove me from the salary committee and you put Jim Brower on there in my place.
I'll second it.
Why not?
And I also have a question. I think we voted it in January as the salary committee. It's compensation committee. Do we also want to, does name matter to anybody?
No.
I mean,
I think we're just,
okay.
okay, so Therese, I hope that in your, motion that you made, I can put Therese instead of me.
Yes, you may.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, congratulations on your job, Jim.
He was already.
Graduating, we got
he was
another
already
free
grabbed
report.
out.
Have more talks later.
We happened to open his mouth a couple of times and, okay.
That's what happens.
Alright, board member reports.
I have,
I
I
do.
oh,
Yeah, well,
where do you wanna start?
Go
We
ahead.
might as well start this.
Okay,
over
so
then.
I did this little breakdown for the treasury
Is
report.
anybody else besides me warm?
I
turned
am.
the air on.
Open the door.
Can I open the door?
I told you it won't take effect, because when the door's open.
So this is just a brief overview of what we have in investments, just in case anybody's curious for my quarterly treasurer's report. I think that should be enough.
Maybe investments.
Yes, the park CD and the honor bank CD, I am both in the process of eliminating and moving them to the Interfi. I did not put the Interfi account in here. I don't know why I didn't do that, so, but that should be in the general report. And I have a couple extra copies if anybody wants them. Those CDs, I have already contacted the bank. She's supposed to be getting back with me. I haven't heard back from her yet. I will call her Wednesday when I'm in. She's not charging us any fees. I'm gonna do an early withdrawal from both of them because there's no fees. And they're making 0 or 0.0015, some ridiculously low fund.
I think it's like point 0.015, and I think one of them's like 0.07,
Yes.
like 0.07.
Right, because of the small amount of the park CD, we are unable to ever move that to a higher earning CD because you have to have a minimum of $10,000. So there's no point in having it. I'm just gonna eliminate it, put it into the parks. That one I'm gonna put into the parks account. The honor CD, I am going to move into the Interfi account,
The what kind?
the sweep account. So that over to the sweep account, so where it'll earn more interest. We'll earn a lot more interest. And because we're staying with the bank and because we have nice bankers, they're not charging us any fees to eliminate it, so I'm just gonna do it now. Do I need approval? I don't think so, but,
No.
and then with that said, I also have another little concern here, and I'm sorry. So I did ask Dave to include the last page of this in the board meeting and things, but somehow it got missed. And due to some concerns I've had received from a member of the community, I would like very much to have this installed on my door to eliminate any future potential problems. This is a drop box that allows somebody to not have to deal with anybody else in the offices if I'm not here, and they can just put their tax payment in the door. Only me and the deputy will have the key
Did you
to
look at the
unlock.
one in the office? or-
No, I didn't, you said you didn't. And this one is I don't know what you have, if you do have, this one allows for an envelope to easily slide in, and then, somebody can securely drop their payment in there at any time, and only you and the deputy can move it.
So does it attaches to the door?
Goes through the
You
door.
have to put a hole in the door, and then it mounts one part on one side and the other part on the other
Okay,
side,
gotcha.
so it's a secure drop box.
The other one you have, it just goes on the outside, and you can put, it's locked, but for the box, it stays on the outside. It's not through the door.
I would like this
Okay.
if possible.
Okay.
And then also the other thing that we would need to do, so I'd like to get approval to get this ordered. And that's really no big deal, just some kind of thing that I can also mount to the wall and to there too. And I probably have some at home or in my office. So I can put some spare envelopes in there so people they come in and they have an envelope to put it in.
We'll order envelopes.
I already
Don't have
ordered some that I
no
have.
names.
No, I didn't order those, I ordered, plastic zip
Oh, those
block
kinds, okay,
that you can reuse and reuse and reuse.
okay.
So I just need something to store those in. They're in my car, I already ordered them.
Okay, I've got a question. On the first page, it's talking about $270, and on here, it's talking about $94.
No, this is a letter that was received to the county, a lady wrote here.
Two
This
separate
here is the, yeah, two separate
Okay.
issues. This here is to address this. This is what I want.
How much is this other piece?
What's the other side of it?
The other side of,
Go back one, please.
I think it's just a picture of like from the back side
Both
and then the
sides,
front side, yeah.
That's what,
Yes,
that's,
I understand,
you're gonna see.
I understand. Thank you.
So we gotta have somebody
Appreciate that.
put a hole in the door.
Well, Dave volunteered, otherwise I could
Very good.
find a carpenter to do it.
Are those fire doors?
I'm sorry,
Are those fire rated doors?
I don't believe that they are.
Not even-
If they are, you can't penetrate them.
No, they're not full doors.
Dave took one down off the main office, that, it was pretty light, right, so it's not
Okay,
fireproof.
then that's not fire door.
So I think that's all I have. Oh, I do, oh, I have one other thing, but we'll kind of address this later.
We could use the door that's over there on the hallway and because that is a solid door.
If you
No,
use
he
fire-
said if we have a fire door, you won't be able to drill the hole out
Right.
to put it mounted.
Right, it's gotta be solid.
Right, so you just need a regular.
But that's more
Door.
solid than this door, so.
Well, I don't think anybody, because they're on camera,
No, I'm
nobody's
just
gonna try
saying
to
that
break
the
that
doors-
off the door.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm
say
not
you got
concerned.
one of these in the main office?
It's something similar, but it's not the same thing.
That's what we were gonna get.
Cause I didn't
I want
see
this
that.
to be able to be in the office, so that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if it gets unlocked, left unlocked, whatever, 'cause, yeah, so,
Alright,
alright, that's all I got.
alright. So,
are you gonna make a motion?
Well, I don't know, do we need to, is it technically office equipment? I make a motion that we purchase a secure drop box for tax payments to be mounted on the treasurer's door
For that.
for,
$100.
for $100, and I don't know if there's, because it's Amazon that I got
Amazon
off
will
of.
have to pay the taxes, so.
You can't put in tax ID on there? I bet you can.
We don't have enough time.
And I have Prime, I can do the free shipping.
Usually free shipping out does the tax.
Yeah.
It's usually shipping is more than tax, if you get free shipping, it covers.
Up to $101.
Alright, we'll just say up to 100.
Because if
$30.
you want a tax ID, you have to do our own.
However, I do
It
know
doesn't
that
matter to me.
Amazon, recognizes nonprofits and.
Right, I just don't know if you have to have those.
We have to get
You
our
just
own
have to
account.
set up an account,
We have to do
pretty
that.
easy to do.
So
We just make a motion that we spend $130 and we order, you might be able to just order that through an office place, I don't care.
Can I ask a newbie
So-
board question?
Yeah.
230.
Do we have to approve every thing, I mean, if we spend $25?
No,
I mean, just,
this, I don't really think we need to.
isn't there a dollar limit? I mean,
I don't-
anything over a certain amount?
Yeah.
Do we have a dollar limit for office supplies? I don't think we do.
Oh,
if we spend over $500, yes,
I would consider this to be a supply,
Yeah.
just do it.
because usually if I find a good deal on paper, I'll buy it, and then I'll come back and say I got paper for $29.99 a case, which we never do anymore. So I bought 10 boxes. I'll let the board know that that's what I did, because if I wait till board meeting to get approved for a really good deal on copy paper, you think we'll get that really good deal.
Yeah. So do you want me to just order that and then I'll just do an expense report?
She'll order it on her Amazon account, then
Yeah.
just reimburse
Yeah,
it.
that or,
Yeah.
so are we doing this now?
No, scratch that.
I have a question on the letter, Ms. Handy. Reading it, it looks like we made some sort of error on our side internally. And I don't know if it's almost $30 fees or if you subtract the $254.92 from the $270.22, what you come up with. Cause I can't do that math in your head. So, the original bill was $240. Whatever.
Which is shy of 30.
Ken, well, you're the treasurer, you should be be able to figure out what the difference is?
It's,
Since it was a town,
it's $29 and some odd cents.
okay. Can we as a township, you know, rather than just saying, well, tough, can we refund her at least the fees, or I'm assuming it's a penalty? Cause it looks like it was our error.
$29.73.
I don't think so.
This, I really don't. I know you asked during the MPA conference and it didn't sound like it was legal.
I don't know. You could take that with collections, but I think she's probably, well, I'm hoping she's let it go.
So let's let it go.
Yeah. I don't know her and I didn't talk to her myself, so I don't know that, but I'm hoping not.
Other board members, do you want to highlight anything on your report, or? Oh, yeah. I thought Mary had.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
do. I made copies of, what the board needs to know about clerk and treasurer dynamics. So if you got that in your mailbox, it was from me, because I didn't see people there. But one of the things that they, actually stress very highly is that we get this manual, which is free off the net, and you'll find that on page 2 on this. And they just said to make sure that we go over that.
There was another class at the same time as that one that was just for treasurers, and this one's recorded and the other one wasn't, so I chose to go to the other one, that's why I didn't go to that
Very
one.
good. And, we had talked before about Robert's Rules of Order, and there was a little discrepancy, I felt, of how things were supposed to be handled. So I got 2 different things, from Robert's Rules of Order, copyright 2020, and, Robert's Rules of Orders for Dummies, just to make sure that everything is understood. But if you look at the last page of the one that's all black, or mostly black, the one that starred about previous question, which is call to order, call to question, it shows that it just takes a motion, and then it says, in order, when another has the floor, you can't do it if somebody else is talking, obviously, you don't just blurt in. But once you state it, it needs a second, but it's not debatable. Once that second is there, we vote as to whether or not we wanna call the question. And then it's not amendable. And then for the vote done to actually vote on whatever we're talking about, takes 2/3 of the board to end all the conversation and vote.
Is that for a board like ours, or for?
That's for any board.
Well, they make several differentiations. I mean, there are committees of the whole, and.
Yeah, this is directly Robert's Rules of
Well,
Order.
I understand it's from Robert's Rules, but does it apply to us?
Yes, it does.
Because it's just a board.
Yeah, it applies to us.
Because that's, from Robert's Rules, that's not my understanding, but I'll look into it. Because when calling a question doesn't necessarily, for say we're a large association and there are 1,000 people in the audience, then when somebody calls a question, that's it. But in a board like ours, somebody calls a question, that doesn't necessarily end debate.
No, it needs a second.
Well, Paul, the second, doesn't necessarily end a debate.
No,
No,
it moves
then
to
you
a vote
vote.
to end debate. But on our board, you would need 4 out of the 5, so, no,
2/3.
2/3.
3 or 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I wasn't here last month when it came up, so we didn't need to agree.
Yeah, well, it wasn't last time, I think it was the time before. And the other thing is, I went to the section on human trafficking, and we've got a serious problem here in Michigan. Probably most people don't know, but as of 2016, Michigan is second in the US for human trafficking.
With what?
Human trafficking,
Sorry.
yeah.
My pool is
Traffic.
noisy.
So, some of the things to look for, most of the people that are trafficked know their trafficker. 42% are trafficked by their family. 39% from either a marriage partner or an intimate friend. A lot of places that you don't think they're gonna show up and nab people. One of the big places is Walmart parking lot. Kids are the main target because they can get more for them. There's a thing on YouTube called Stop This Traffic, which will give you more information as to what to look for and how to stop it. The average age is 12 to 14, and their lifespan once they're trafficked is 7 years. Michigan has a, excuse me, a real problem because we have international border with Canada. And our waterways all the way around make it easy for people to come in that way. But one of the main things are sporting events. And Mackinac Island is the largest spot in Michigan where trafficking takes place. So, I have a phone number for the international hotline for trafficking. If you see something that looks strange to you, you've got someone with a child and the child is non-responsive to anything, or always looking away, or not looking directly at you, eyes are down, that's a good sign that the person that they're with is not a good person to be with. But that phone number is 1-888-373-7888. And they said an easy way to remember it is 888-3737-888. So we just need to be aware. From 2017 to 2022, the percentage of trafficking has gone up 25%. So, you know, we live in a beautiful place, and I think most of us don't look for it, and we aren't that aware of what's going on around us, but it's a big problem. Michigan is number 2. That's a horrible one.
Who's number 1?
I don't know. I was so blown away that we were number 2, I lost it. So, that's it.
A couple of weeks ago, I think all of us went to the Michigan Township Association Education Conference, which I belong to a lot of associations. We the township belong to this one, and man, it's one of the best associations I've ever seen, and they put on an incredible conference. Since the township spent almost $1,200 sending me, I thought I'd crank out a report, which is something I used to do in business when my salespeople went to the conference. I always wanted them, a written report of, what you learned, report back, don't just tell me. So we have a record of it. And while it was great and very invigorating, it was also very unnerving on a couple of different levels, because I think the township is dancing on the edge of some very serious problems. I'll not go through the whole report, but a couple of the key takeaways. And I want to preface this, that I don't have anything against our assessor. I don't have anything, I don't have any objections to the amounts that are being suggested. We'll come to it. Actually, it's the last thing on our agenda in new business, the assessing contract. there are state statutes, there's, IRS, considerations of their rules. And there's also the state constitution says we can't contract away assessing. Now, it doesn't mean that the assessor can't hire another firm to do some of the grunt work for him, as long as the assessor is the primary overseer and does the majority of the overseeing of that work. But we need to have a specific contract for our assessor, not just on our payroll, but to actually contract them as an assessor, or an employment contract with them as an assessor. And the current contract is written, doesn't even mention his name, let alone, you know, I've got some other issues with it, which we'll cover when I get to that. A big concern, and actually my biggest concern, is we have fund balances that occur when we don't spend all the money that we set aside or budgeted for. We don't spend it all, we have a surplus. It's been going into a fund balance, and ours is, according to one of the experts that was presenting at the conference, we're 10 times higher than we should be. And that puts us at risk for losing. We get a little over $250,000 of state fund sharing. If the state finds out and looks hard at what we're doing, they're gonna say, you don't need our money, you don't get it. And I don't wanna lose $250,000 a year based on those issues. And again, I'll cover that in more detail when we talk about Manor Casteris. One of the other things that was surprising to me is there are statutory ways that we can make money as a township, and there are statutory ways we can spend money as a township. And in discussions, we have two committees that are outside of those statutes that we shouldn't have. And it's not that I have anything against the committees, and I think they should stick around, but we need to find a way of forming them so that they're proper and legal. The events committee, and one of the things specifically I mentioned is we had a spaghetti dinner. Why? Well, it was a fundraiser. Why? For the events committee, so they could do more stuff. And this was put on by the person, there's a one-day seminar that was actually before the conference that Teresa and I attended, and it was led by the MTA's in-house counsel, who's been at that job for 27 years, I think, is right, some huge number. We can't fundraise for the township, you know, that was improper. We only made 20 bucks, so basically we broke even. And the other is the Fire Association, which is kind of acknowledged as a separate body, but we should not be doing their bookkeeping. You know, we have them on our chart of accounts, we show them in our budget, that's improper. You know, we need to find a way of.
They have to have their own, they have to have their, what is it, 401?
Their own tax exempt.
Yeah, they're supposed to have absolutely nothing to do with the township, they're their own, it would be like the Boy Scouts running the room. They're supposed to have nothing to do with us. And at one time, I guess, that's how it used to be here, somehow they changed it,
Well,
and we need to change it back.
so it needs to be changed back. There's a great section in it led by this fellow Rod Taylor, who I'll talk about more when we get to him, about budgeting. But there's a lot that needs to be done from the standpoint of how we're just approaching the concept. And it's not just budgeting numbers per se, but it's long-term planning, getting opinions and so forth. So another area that I don't think we're fulfilling our duty as a board from the standpoint of the way things should be run. While just in passing, because we're going to be talking next about our auditor, okay, the suggestion was made that we have annual audits as opposed to semi-annual audits. Statute says we only have to do it every other year, except we do it every other year for both years. They said if you do it every year, it actually costs less than combining the two together. So, that was just a strong suggestion from them.
Well, plus it's also was recommended because I wrote up a report when I was sitting on my printer at home. So, but they also said that way too, especially like when we paid an auditor just specifically for whatever reason last year. When you have somebody who comes in every year, if there is an issue, if there is any questions, then you can address them much quicker and you can fix them much quicker and you can, you know, make sure you're doing things correctly sooner rather than making an auditor backtrack potentially 2 full years.
Now, one of the things I think, Dave, you're gonna be talking about, there is a class or a session on brownfield and brownfield development. And there's a department in Eagle that can actually help us pay for the testing of our 30 acres to see what's there. Because I mentioned that it used to be a cherry orchard, and the immediate response of the 2 people that were leading the class was that, you know, it's probably toxic and probably has lead and strychnine in it. And they said that stuff sticks around forever. They also suggest that the whole field might not be brownfield, might be parts, but apparently there's a proper way of testing it, and you've been in touch with Aaron?
Yeah.
That's cool. The other thing that's interesting, I always thought brownfield was for dirty cleanup, you know, of space. The rules have all changed. While I look forward to them paying for the testing, I don't know that we wanna get the reclamation done through them, because it's not paid for through federal dollars anymore. There's an organization pays for the cleanup, whatever it is, and then you have whatever the land would have been taxed at before the cleanup, and the increase in value, they take their money entirely out of that increase in value taxes. So we just keep getting the old tax revenue, they take the difference until they get paid off. And that can take anywhere from 5 to 30 years, which makes it, you know, is it really worthwhile? So we need to look in. And the other thing is not just putting dirty land. The 7-acre property that we took in a tax delinquency might actually qualify as brownfield. So weird rules. Hopefully Aaron can help you on that too.
Yeah. I'll get to it when we get down there.
And then, I'll get to it in more detail, talking about Rod Taylor and what I'd like him to do for us, but, you know, there are a whole bunch of things that can, you know, it's not gonna happen overnight. We're way out of alignment, and, you know, our budget practices, lack of a strategic plan, which is, we call it the core of a budget. I mentioned there are fund balances being out of whack, and potentially losing state revenue. And, he actually, you know, pulled up our chart of accounts online, because they're online for any of you to look at. Well, not the chart of accounts, the budget. And he said, actually the 10 times worse, fund balance, it's actually worse than that, because there are some departments that we have that should be part of our general fund that aren't, but, you know, those are things that, I think it would be great to have him help us look at. So if you have any questions, you know, my report's online, you know, my number and email's online, so feel free to give me a call or an email. I'm happy to talk.
The classes should be online on May 17th, that's what they're shooting for. Okay.
I emailed them the other day.
There are 13 classes that they videotape. I'm gonna start holding, evening office hours, if you would, and, once they're online, you know, if you wanna come look at them, we'll just, you know, fire them up on the TV and go through the class.
Alright, before we get into old business, recess at 7:47. We'll come back at 8.
You plan on being here a while?